All right, so college football this season. Do you think so? Looking back on it now, did it work in a way? The way the 12-team playoff went, how it was structured, overall, just thoughts on how it went.
I mean, in the end, I think the best team won, in my opinion. I think Ohio State was the best team, and in a lot of ways, I think it was. I think it was interesting just to kind of show, even after an early season loss against Oregon, and then a really heartbreaking loss for them against Michigan late, that teams with two losses still can be the best, and it's the teams that play the best at the end of the year that are peaking at the right time. Obviously, Ohio State took that momentum and they were able to do it. With respect to how the playoff is set up, I don't think conference champions should be double rewarded with a bye week. Like I don't think Boise State should have gotten a bye, and I don't know if Arizona State really should have gotten a bye or not. But I mean, I think conference champions getting in is one thing, but I do think there has to be some restructuring with respect to the final rankings in the seedings. But in terms of the quality of the games, especially late in the playoff, like looking back at Arizona State and Texas, and then Penn State, Notre Dame, and Texas, Ohio State. I mean, those were incredible games. There was a tremendous product on the field. So to me, net net, in the first year of the expanded format, absolutely, I thought it worked.
When you look at the landscape of college football, like how much do you think it's changed in this era with transfer portal, with NIL? Like how much when you watch tape and you're watching guys and you're just and you player for player, position by position on especially some of these great teams or the best teams, like how much has it changed from watching from 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Oh my God. I mean, night and day, David. I mean, like, I know we've talked about it in the past too. It's like, I just think it's a different world completely. I don't even know, like, for you and I, back when we played, like, I remember if you transferred, that was like a sign of weakness for you.
Mm-hmm.
That you didn't want to stick around and grind it out and compete and get back on the field. Today, it's just so common, especially I feel like at the quarterback position where you see guys just bouncing around sometimes two, three, maybe even four times. It's just become that's just the landscape now. And I mean, teams lose great players to the draft, and they can reload so quickly now because of the portal. And NIL play is a massive factor in that, and getting those kinds of guys in. Uh, to me, like it's just so different. It's so night and day different from I think anything certainly that I experienced at Florida, and really anything that we've seen in the last 5 years. And David and I talk about this a lot too. I feel for coaches in a lot of ways now, having to constantly re-recruit your own guys. Think about that. Like all of the time and effort you put in to getting this high school talent into your locker room every single year now, that they're getting picked, that they're getting called, they're getting reached out to by other programs. And not just do you have to recruit new players to come in, but you have to constantly be re-recruiting your own guys. It's so much extra work that goes into it. And I think that's why there are a lot of coaches. I think Nick Saban being one of them, who kind of got fed up and sort of saw the writing on the wall and what was happening. They just decided, I don't want to be a part of that.
So is it fair to say that Jesse Palmer's career at Florida would look a little different in today's world than it did in that time frame? Do
I
you, do you feel
mean,
like you're in one spot for 4 years like you were? Probably not.
I don't know. It's like it's really hard to say. What I do know is I would have had a few more bucks in my pocket, which means I would have been wearing a lot more Abercrombie and Fitch. Like 20-year-old Jesse Palmer has no idea what to do with any money. Like I don't know what I could have spent that on, honestly, except to get like three more pairs of cargo shorts. That's
but
basically it.
but you think about like if you were getting yanked out, what you did. If some of y'all don't remember, like Spurrier would play multiple quarterbacks. He was okay with that, and you didn't really have a choice. Like I don't know, that might have been something like, hey, you know what? I don't really want to get yanked out every other play, and I kind of want to go compete and play. And so it's a realistic question. Like if you would have
And
put up with that kind of stuff.
that's a great point. I think that was a unique situation with obviously an all-time great coach, and that was his coaching style, and it had worked at Florida in an era where if you transferred, you had to sit a year out. There was a penalty for transferring also,
Yep.
and obviously no guarantee. Plus, here's the thing, I mean, at Florida, like we were throwing to first round receivers every single year. We were just reloading. We were surrounded by so much NFL talent. We wanted to be in the fun and gun. But that strategy today, to David's point, I agree. I don't think anybody would put up with that. I think a lot of people would say, I want to go somewhere where I can compete in the offseason, win the job, and feel like I can hold that, even if we throw interceptions or even if we lose games. No doubt.